You, by the way, have been working on a series with my ex-wife, my son's mom.
Really?
Yeah,
Friend just like that?
yeah. She's Karen Pittman.
Yes, indeed. Well,
Uh,
we used to work together.
I heard something along those lines.
Well, she's a busy lady.
Yeah, she's got the goods, right?
She's a tremendous actor.
Yeah,
I tell everyone, I'm like, if she doesn't have an Oscar in the next 5 years, I will be shocked.
yeah, she
I
was.
just tremendous. She's a tremendous artist. Tremendous. Yeah.
She was, always was. I was there from the earliest days, um, and even though our marriage didn't last, I was always very proud and supportive of her career.
Yeah.
um, and what she pulled off in terms of, I don't know if you know, just, and I'll get to, of course, Boundary Waters in a moment, but she was like 9 months pregnant when she got into NYU, into the grad program there. And I mean, and she got like 100% full scholarship, which is just, the whole thing was unheard of.
Yeah, it's like a lottery ticket, but I
Yeah.
mean,
But you got to earn that too. I mean, I don't know.
she's an incredible actress. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I just marveled at every time I'd watch her on screen. I'm just like, and then of course with the morning show, I'm like,
Yeah.
they
Pretty
don't
good.
they don't happen like that. And what a run she's been on too.
Right.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not so bad yourself,
Well,
seeing you
busy's
around.
great. Busy's great. We like being busy.
I understand.
Gotta stay in motion, man. It's so
Yeah.
hard. Keep things.
What's your acting background, or in terms of like, were you, and I guess, having not said we are starting, we have started. So uh that's my style. But do you did you, is this something you always knew you were going to do, or did you decide to take it up when you were like still like a young, like a kid, or is this?
I was always performing for a very, very small town in Southern Illinois. And so when my hopes were dashed of playing shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals, which were never really, they were hopes, purely hopes. But
Well,
I got handed a copy of a play my sophomore year of high school, The Crucible, and
sure.
my school didn't have a theater program, but we did participate in drama competitions.
Hmm.
Just never something I had considered. I just you know, and I read that play, and for whatever reason, blew my mind. And then I started to participate in the speech team, and that was sort of my entree into the world of acting, as sort of
Huh.
formally known.
Yeah.
And I did well in those competitions, and man, I got the bug in a serious way. And it wasn't until I guess the winter of my senior year, I had auditioned for or I had applied to some other colleges in state, and then on a lark went to Chicago and auditioned for a school here in New York, and it was for musical theater. I was like, wait a minute, singing? Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
And since then, this has been the only thing that I really cared about doing. Had
And you had quite I mean, is it this wonderful combination of skill and timing, right? Which is usually the formula that, launches many careers, right? Skill, knowing to, and being I guess you can't undervalue being prepared, keeping
No, never.
keeping the muscle tone. It's one thing, we were talking about Karen before, but I mean, what I observed was somebody who didn't go to the parties. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't show up, but she didn't stay. She
Yeah,
got her sleep. She did her preparation. This is what I observed with some great actors, that, and maybe, just sort of being really super prepared, being in the zone, being focused. All this stuff is a great skill. I mean, you ended up in some pretty amazing theater in New York.
yeah. Fortunate to work on
Miranda.
Broadway and off Broadway, and then meet some like-minded folks who were trying a new thing, and in the process of that, learning all of those things that you just mentioned. I was not always the most prepared. It takes a long time in your life to figure out how to prepare,
Sure.
uh,
I mean, if you don't have the
put
luck
things
of
in
going
order.
to a top-notch acting school, top of the line, like
Sure.
most actors don't, by the way.
Yeah,
Most great actors haven't had that experience, so they do learn, like you're saying.
yeah. I mean, if I was as focused and understood as much as I think I do now, uh, things could have gone differently. I don't know how, and I don't really know that I'd want them to have gone any differently. I mean, I've had a really full career, and fortunately have picked up best friends of my lifetime in the process. So that for me is everything happens for a reason is the kind of thing that you can say after you survived the crash, or
Right. Yeah.
or you've made
Right.
it down from the latest summit attempt. But for me, I wake up every day now trying to learn something that I didn't know when I went to bed. And it is an insatiable curiosity of how to refine process, be it music, be it acting, be it text, new authors, just general information. Like I'm old enough to love the internet because I can really go on for 10 minutes and find out 10 different things that I didn't know existed in the world. And that to me is kind of the attitude that I take when I wake up every day.
That's a wonderful attitude. And when you go into a project like where you're a supporting character essentially in a film like Boundary Waters, I imagine it's just it's an opportunity for you just to uh, learn a tremendous amount. And
Absolutely. Tessa Blake is an amazing, filmmaker. I had the experience of meeting her and then working with her on the set of Bull over several seasons. She came in to direct several episodes a year, and
oh, I see.
that's
Ah,
where
very good.
we, developed a rapport, and just a warm and open and a great facilitator to work. When you're doing episodic work, it can sometimes feel like you're making the donuts. For a director to come in and really want to discuss, character and discuss, the work. I wouldn't say that it's not as frequent as one would necessarily believe, but she's an actor's director and came through every time, engaging, really involved, really well thought out, really considerate of the fact that we came to work every single day, and that's what made those interactions special and those episodes special. So when she called me, I said, "Of course, yes, let's play." And she says, "Well, we're going to be in a little town in northern Minnesota
Minnesota. Yeah.
called Ely." And I said, "Okay." I didn't know that it was 40 miles south of the Canadian border in the midst of the wilderness. What a beautiful experience. It was my first time getting on a plane and going to shoot a movie on location, and it was a lot of fun. It was um, the change of pace is great for me because I'm from a very small town in the
In the
rural
Midwest.
in the Midwest. Yeah, so the whole experience was great. The crew, the cast, like we had an amazing time, and being in a sort of in that setting really kind of helped you focus the mind and focus where you were. You didn't have to do a lot of work in terms of getting a sense of what the world was like. We were there. It was the town was really inviting. It was a really really cool thing to be there.
Mm. And did you guys have an opportunity? I mean, it sounds like from what you just said in terms of the episodic work and the episodes that Tessa directed, that perhaps there was some level of conversation and preparation about the subject matter. I mean, this is a coming of age story, so the rest of you guys, the adults in the film, are there to kind of support, I guess, the kids in on some level.
Mhm.
It's a that's beside the point. I guess what I'm trying to get at is the subject matter is pretty hefty. At its core, there is sexual violent situations happening or in this town in this that you described in northern Minnesota. And it's interesting because it brings up a whole other conversation which we don't have to get into. It's really it would probably take a lot longer, which is about reporting um rape or not, and this subject matter. But I'm wondering how much of you did you guys discuss these issues and what that was, where that played into preparation for the characters and
Well, once we were there, it was pretty clear that the perspective of Etienne's character was really the main thing. This was about how uh, a young person who's developing all of these sort of structures of strength and of safety and security and curiosity and exploration and all of these things. Um, as a father, as a brother, as an uncle, like I'm always interested in making sure that I had a tumultuous relationship with my father figures in my life, and so seeing that the story was really from his perspective gave me a great deal of sensitivity and compassion towards what it is that kids are really kind of processing when life happens. Um, at the heart of it, all of these things that happen to these people are all very, very personal. And we
right,
make our decisions based around so many different criteria that are impossible to navigate. Now you multiply the magnitude of all of those by the younger that you are when you're experiencing them or watching them happen. And so to watch Etienne's character have to challenge all of these norms that all of these grown-ups have sort of are moving around, space in, um, that sense of exploration and curiosity is a hard thing to navigate. It's a hard thing to understand.
yeah,
It's why can't a wrong be righted immediately? Why is there confusion?
right, yeah,
Well, what would keep what keeps all of these lessons that I'm being taught on a daily basis? Why are none of these adults following them? And that's the kind of thing that I think that the younger you are, the more immediate those questions, sort of the relevance of them stays. And that's I think
yeah.
what we're seeing them
So, yeah,
happening.
you're right. I mean, it's a clever part of the script that you're right. The young boy at its center, he's like sees things in black and white as most
Yeah,
kids do, right? They know
yeah,
there's bad guys and good guys.
right,
There's good and
right,
there's bad. It's a very binary, right, in that way. And yet we know from because of how he filters what he's learning about to the
yeah,
things that are going on, um, that's his filter. But he has to grow up and learn. Oh no, it's far more. Things are far more nuanced. And you're right.
absolutely,
Then you take your lessons that you learn when you're a kid, but then you got to go out into the real world. So
yeah,
and make your choices.
yeah. And you see all of that being worked out like we as all kids do. We work out those really complex issues with our friends in our peer group,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
to other kids who are experiencing very similar confounding and confusing situations. It's like they're all wrestling with how to navigate those personal moments and then sort of explore the bigger the bigger questions when it's safe or even when it's not safe, when you're challenging all of these grown-ups that have to decide whether or not they're going to speak up because of the importance of getting along in the day. Like a lot of right and wrong is binary,
Hmm.
but the humanness of it is that if I say this thing, then I blow up the world. I can damage
Yeah.
all of our prospects or all of the hope for what tomorrow looks like. It really kind of paints a stark contrast from that binary position to the things that
Yeah.
adults deal with.
That's what the movie explores, and
Yeah,
it's called Boundary Waters. It's from I think I can say because when this drops, as they say, this episode, your next festival will be taking place in New York City, actually, at the around the corner from where I spent many years on
yeah.
at the Regal Union Square. There's a festival called Dances with Films. Apparently, I thought I knew every festival. What do you know?
Well, every time you get to open up a festival, you get a new audience. You're hoping for a new audience.
Absolutely. Every street corner should have a film festival, don't you think?
That's well, at some point, if
Don't you
there's
think,
good
Chris?
films put out there, yeah, why
Uh,
not?
Actually, where the film premiered was a festival I work at, and I was unfortunately I was trying to work with the publicist to do this during the leading up to the festival, and because of my role, it was just like really difficult for me. So, but I am so grateful when I found that it was you who I was going to be talking to. I was really grateful because of the connections that I saw, and also because of your work on Broadway. People that are Broadway nerds will recognize you, of course, from your, well, they may not recognize you from your work in The Lion King, but they may recognize you.
Every once in a while, I'll get someone will send me on Twitter, the pull out from the playbill because I was an understudy for about a year and a half before I took the role over. But a lot of folks came out. There's a lot. That was a like a first show for a lot of people,
Yes.
you know. And I call it my grad school experience
And
because I was
then
there for 4 years.
your relationship with Miranda, right? With
Yeah,
and the work you've done.
yeah,
Um just sensational career you've got going, and now you're in Boundary Waters, and people of course can still continue to check you out on And Just Like That,
yeah.
where you are not working with Karen Pittman, but
But we're
there's
there.
quite a great
We just
cast. You've got a,
we just wrapped season 3.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations on that, and I hope that we can do this again.
Oh, I'd love to. If I'm talking to you, most likely it's because I've got another film, and I absolutely,
Right, probably true.
I hope so.
And I'm sure there will be.
I hope so.
You will. Really nice to meet you.
You too.
Are you in on the West Coast right now, or are you in?
No, no, I'm New York based.
Oh, good. I didn't get you up too early. Then that's good.
No, no, man. I got kids. I'm up. I'm, I'm up at the crack, man.
Ours is, I don't know if you ever, you didn't meet my son, probably because
No, I didn't. We
he's
spoke a lot
just not.
about him though.
And they shot that all on the East Coast anyway, right? So,
Yeah, yeah,
um, but I'm not sure. I guess he would have been around, but he has no interest in that
yeah.
life.
I
It's
don't
just,
blame.
I don't know
I
about
don't
your
blame him at
kids.
all. I'm
What?
sorry. What'd you say?
Yeah, I was always going to say my son Jacob, he's 20 though, it's
Okay.
different. I'm sure you've got younger kids, but he just has no interest in the attention and going to the, being a backstage kid. He
Sure.
has been his whole life, but between the two of us.
Well, it's
But
a big world. There's lots of fun things to do out
oh
there.
my goodness, yes.
So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, really wonderful meeting you, Chris. And again, I'm sure if I this opportunity presents itself, I'll grab it and we'll do it again.
I'll look forward to it. Thanks,
Me
Adam.
too. All right. Have a great day.
Take care, bro.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you guys.